Hello and welcome back to the Comic Lounge. Today, as I'm recording, is on Black Friday. By the time that you're watching this, it's going to be post Black Friday and pretty much the beginning of December. But either way, when it comes to Black Friday, you know you have to go out at least do some shopping and take advantage of the deals that they're all doing. And when it comes to me and comic books or whatever that I like to collect, the shops are always doing a Black Friday deal, and the shop here in town, which is Highway to the Gaming Zone, had been doing their special Black Friday week-long deal, which was in effect from the 25th to, of course, the very last day of November. So, of course, there was a couple days, at least one day I took advantage of, and then, well, for today that I'm recording, I took advantage again, and, well, this is what I'm left with. About 8 comics, and it's all going to be DC Comics, people. It's all going to be DC, but you know what? There's some good ones in here. And so, without further ado, I will see you all after this. With this shop's Black Friday deal, what did I actually ended up picking up, and what was I finally able to pick up that I probably wouldn't have been able to have picked up earlier. The one thing that is great about Black Friday deals is especially with comic shops or any sort of gaming or collectible shops in general that do specialize in comics or music or whatever, they're always going to have some sort of deals going on, and with that, you might be able to find that thing, or was eyeing that thing you were seeing for, maybe weeks or whatever, that's maybe kind of out of your price range, but with the special Black Friday deals, you're able to get a hold of that thing that you've been wanting for a while, and you're getting it at a reduced price. And that's what I was able to do with this, and I got some good deals. So I'm going to get to the 4 comics I picked up on the first day that I went, which would have been Wednesday, November 26th. And so these are the ones I picked up, and these are normally ones that I wouldn't really pick up on any given day because of the price. Because I always, on any other regular day, I try to find at least the cheapest, unless I got a bit more money to blow on. Money to blow with, whatever. That was a bit of an odd description. But either way, these are the ones I ended up picking up. So, first up, I don't really have a whole lot of this character stuff other than maybe appearances and so on. They're like maybe cameos or maybe with another character. But when it comes to war books, this is one of the characters that have been eluding my collection. And so what I'm talking about is, right now, I think was a period was probably getting specced on, but still, I think the movie deal is up in the air right now. But I'm talking about is Sergeant Rock with Our Army of War with issue number 188, and again, this is not a perfect looking copy. It is very much more closer to a low grade. But for 12-cent, Our Army at War, some of these are not always going to be fine in the perfect shape as it is. And this is as good as I think I can do with as compared to online for who puts up at least copies that are a list maybe worse or maybe slightly better, but yet at a way more higher price than normally than I'll bite on. But for now, for $5, but with the 50% off that they're doing for the deals, I was going to at least get this for around $3, so it was a much more reduced price on that, so that was a pretty good deal on there. And then next up, speaking of some more, this is actually a Bronze Age one here. This is the beginning of the Bronze, though, or maybe close to the beginning, or there might be getting close to 25 cents, but it's a 20-center. Really good shape, by the way. This is at least, there's still some defects, but it's a very clean-looking copy of number 250. Our Army of War number 250 in a fairly good looking shape, even though there's going to be some small bit of spine ticks and maybe a little bit of some wear. I don't know if you'll ever see that. It's very small there, but the back does have a little bit of a crease, but it's not super terrible. Still, this was being sold at $6, but again, this would have came down to around $3, so I got $3 at least for a fairly nice looking copy of our Army of War number 250. So I normally will gradually pick these up if I see if it's going to be at a good price I can afford, or again if it's in fairly good shape. So these are always good to pick up. So yeah, our Army of War number 250. Great Joe Kubert as usual there. Here's one that I've been wanting to get more of since I've been kind of dipping in more of the DC horror books. This was one of those titles I've always been wanting to get because I had gotten like weird Western tales, but the one I've always wanted to grab was at least something of a weird war tales, and this ended up being the only one they had there. But it's number 35 with a great sort of Luis Dominguez cover there. But it's number 35. Again, this was one of those that wasn't really priced, but I think they were going to price it at maybe $4. I think they were going to price it at $4, but yet literally I ended up paying at least $4 to begin with for this to begin with. So that's at least at for what they had, and it was pretty good. So I can't complain there. So DC Comics Weird War Tales number 35, just fantastic. Again, they're not super easy to find those books out in the wild, but when I do, I'll get them. So finally, I think out of the first batch of comics I bought at the shop for their Black Friday week deal, this is probably the only real key out of all of them. But what I'm talking about is, and this wasn't priced too, but I ended up getting at least a pretty good deal for it. But it is The Secret Society of Supervillains number 1, which is the first appearance of, well, the first team of the Secret Society here. Again, with Captain Cold, Gorilla Grodd, Mirror Master, and then Sinestro, with the first appearance of, might be the third or second Star Sapphire, but it's not the one. It's not the one that at first appears in one of the Green Lantern comics from the Silver Age. It's not. This is probably one of the more forgotten, maybe slightly forgotten, maybe versions of Star Sapphire, but still, it's a mid-grade copy at best, but it's a pretty good high mid-grade copy for me. Yes, there's definitely some defects here and there, but it's still a pretty good mid-grade copy nonetheless. And I got one of these Mylar bags anyways, just because of this one. It's just so good to begin with. Ernie Chan, that's just great. So really, really happy to find at least a copy of number 1 of the Secret Society of Supervillains. So got that for Black Friday. That was a good steal, but it's not gonna compare for me, at least to the second batch. This is the one where I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So let's get to the second batch, and there's a really good one in the back here, anyways. So the first one, again, sticking back with the Our Army at War, but it's another Silver Age. And this is the one that I ended up paying, I think, for, as you can see, it's going to be $12. But it got reduced to at least $4. Actually, it was $2.50. I actually paid $3 each, I think, for some of those instead. But this has been $4. But it is number 180. And it's actually beside, again, the little marking that you see right there, which is more like a store marking, I believe, than an actual, man-made mark, like at least... Not something from at least a person who bought it, but more so from those, I think, from the store. So it's more like a store marking than an actual, something that was actually done on purpose. It was done for, I think, for the market down, maybe. Either way, it's in pretty good shape, besides, again, some creases and some defects here and there. But it's definitely a good medium mid-grade for one of these Silver Age or late Silver Age Our Army at War comics with Sergeant Rock. So, and again, it's a great Joe Kubert cover as well. Just Obviously one of those Nazi kind of covers, whatever. But man, some of these can be fairly sought out to begin with. A lot of these, Nazi propaganda covers is what I think it normally gets signed under. But still, you can't go wrong with any sort of Silver Age, Armament War, anything Silver Age Joe Kubert. This is just amazing. But yeah, I got that good deal on that one. Now, this is probably more like maybe Bronze Age slop, but it's late bronze. But it's still, I have a copy of Showcase number 100, but I don't think I've ever seen number 101. But still, I got this one for a pretty good deal. So this is Showcase number 101 featuring Hawkman, Adam Strange, and Hawkgirl. And then this wasn't priced, but they ended up giving me it for at least, again, I paid about $4 for it to begin with, so 50% off what they originally were going to give it out. So it's perfect. Can't go wrong. Still, that's probably how much it goes for these days to begin with, but I can't go wrong with that. Finally, these last two are really cool. One of them is definitely more of reprinted stuff, but for the deal and for especially the period of what these reprinted stories are originally from, it's a no-brainer. But it is the last issue of the second series of Secret Origins. It is number 7, which this was based, or at least was featured as part of a series where they went and reprinted a lot of old first appearances from the Golden Age. So a lot of the real first appearances from these characters. So this one reprints the first appearance of Robin from Detective Comics 38 from 1940. And it is the first ever reprint of the first appearance of Aquaman from No Fun, or is it More Fun Comics? I think number 72 or something like that, or is it 80 or 83? Was it 73? One of those numbers, again, from 1941. But still, this was one of those I just couldn't pass up. Again, they didn't have it priced, but again, because of being the Black Friday deals, it wasn't going to really matter. So I got a really good deal to begin with on this comic. So it was a pretty cool snag. I mean, it's not super valuable, but it's still valuable for those who want some of these reprinted stories, because there's no way anybody's going to, at this point, being able to put any money on these Golden Age comics, anything from the Golden Age. Like, you're not going to get an original. So these are always going to be worth it. So I like some of these finding some of these original reprinted books from the 70s. They're all worth it. So Secret Origins number 7. Finally, the last one. This is the one when I went back in there after months of, or at least weeks of them not having the boxes up for sale because they were doing a lot of resettling. They're like all repricing and so on. I spotted this, and I have at least wanted a copy of this for a while now, but I can never really want to put the price down for it, but they gave me a good deal on it due to it, and this was awesome. What I'm referring to is issue number 8 from the Joker's first ever solo series. This is not, again, the first meeting between the Joker and Scarecrow. Again, great cover from Ernie Chambaugh. I forgot to mention, this is a Nick Cardy cover, by the way. It's him at least drawing both, or at least paying homage to their particular respected first ever artwork, whatever. Again, it's like this is basically Nick Cardy at least redrawing or homaging the cover from, again, Detective Comics number 38, and then this one I think from one of the panels, whatever, in the More Fun Comics issue that this is taken from. Again, the first appearance of Aquaman. So it's Nick Cardy paying homage to both of them. So these are really cool. Begin it's a really cool Nick Cardy. But again, this is a great Ernie Chan cover as is, and it's so fun. You can't go wrong for that. But so I think they were going to give me this for like $8, which is a lot cheaper than what some people try to sell this for. They tend to overprice this book. And that's the problem. This one gets overpriced big time than what it normally will sell for. But I still paid under. I underpaid on this comic for certain. Because They were gonna give me it for $8, but then with the 50% off, $4, baby, $4 for the first meeting between Joker and Scarecrow. So can't go wrong with some Bronze Age Joker. And sure, this is kind of considered a controversial issue because of the Joker does use a certain R slang for against Scarecrow, the way just the way he is critiquing the look of Scarecrow. But to be honest, that word has been also used even past this. So there's a lot of books that uses that R word. It's just more of a it's just something that is a derogatory term for people who are mentally unstable. So you kind of could already get it. Still, I had to snag a copy of Joker number 8 no matter what. So it's awesome, and it's my only solo Joker comic. So I couldn't do it. I couldn't pass it up, and this was the moment. So really happy with that one. Really happy. So there you have it, folks. There's all the comics I picked up around pretty much Black Friday. And so if you have any comments, any of the books I just picked up, you can all leave them down in the comment section below. But if you want to see more of this type of stuff that I show, because normally I will show some really bonkers stuff and some really cool stuff on this channel, even if it isn't like super valuable, there's still a lot of cool stuff, and I do want to try and turn you on to some of these type of titles so you can look for them. And whether or not it bumps the price up for these books, it's, again, whatever. Either way, if you have any thoughts on this stuff and you want to see this stuff, it ain't going to do me great, but it's going to do you great, because once you hit that subscribe button, you are never going to miss out on any new content from me. So with that, I hope I'll enjoy. I hope all of you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope all of you had a fun Black Friday splurging day. So until then, take care, everybody.